Well, hello lovely humans, and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, we are kind of continuing on with that idea that I had a couple weeks ago of doing something called Let's Talk Trends. And we are going to talk about bridesmaid dresses, the mismatch versus matching trend. Now, matching dresses has been the trend obviously for quite some time, for a very, very long time. But recently, I'd say within the last 10 years or so, we started to see a lot more of this mismatch trend happening. In fact, when I got married, we definitely did that with our bridesmaids as well. And while you can't go wrong with either one of those options, there are pros and cons to each. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. So matching dresses obviously would mean everyone is wearing the same exact dress in the same exact style, in the same exact color. And that just provides a nice continuity to the whole look. And that's been what people have been doing for quite some time now. I don't know how many decades. I don't know when bridesmaid dresses became a thing. I wish I was a little bit more of a wedding historian, but I am not. So let's just say it's been around for a minute. I don't know how long, but a while. But like I said just a moment ago, we are really starting to see this new trend of mismatching. So personally, I really don't feel like there's a wrong or a right way to do this. I love either one of these options pretty much equally. So in my opinion, I don't have a preference either way. I think both have their own merits and both look beautiful in photos and both have the opportunity of making sure that your gal pals shine on your wedding day and that you do as well. So we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of each one of these, and then we're gonna talk about the tips for how to successfully shop for mismatched dresses or just bridesmaid dresses in general. And be sure to stay tuned to the very end when we do talk through some of that, because I got a code for you guys if you guys are interested in getting 15% off your bridesmaid dresses. I know, right? So, the pros with having matching dresses. Well, first of all, it's all the same. It is a very cohesive and timeless and traditional look. So if that's something that you're going for, obviously mismatch is not going to be the vibe for you. Going for one dress, one style, one color for all of them might take some of the headache off of you as well, because you can just make one decision and then be done with it. You don't have to worry about color matching or making sure they're all like the same but slightly different or all within the same color palette. You can just make one choice and go with it, and you can be done. Also, the cost is equal. So it's not like you're assigning a different dress for every single person and one person's potentially paying $100 more than another. But that can also be looked at as a con as well. That does mean that everyone's paying the same exact price. So just as a kind of gentle reminder / rule of thumb, when you are looking at bridesmaid dresses, try to look for something that's $200 or less, especially once they start accessorizing, and if they need alterations, those costs start to ratchet up real hard, real fast. So that's definitely something to kind of try to think through if you are the one that's out hunting for them on behalf of your bridesmaids. And lastly, you don't run the risk of it looking too chaotic because everyone's wearing the same thing. It's all the same. It's not gonna be crazy. You don't run the risk of someone wearing the wrong color or something that's slightly outside of your color palette. Now the cons to everyone wearing the same exact dress. Naturally, one size does not fit all. One dress will likely not be super flattering for every single person in your wedding party. It just won't. Like, you might try really hard, but it's not gonna look great on absolutely every single body. And it's really hard to find the right style that might possibly look really great on every single body. Whether it's something that you're asking the girls to do to figure out a dress that every one of them likes, that's a lot of opinions trying to decide on one dress. Or you're taking on the responsibility of finding the perfect dress that will fit any figure, any size, any skin tone, anything. That's a lot of responsibility for whoever has to make that choice. Now let's talk about mismatched bridesmaid dresses, which is an up and coming trend. It's probably been around for, I don't know, 5-7 years. Again, not a wedding historian. I'm just sharing based off the knowledge that I have. Now, piggybacking off the last con, the pros to mismatch means there's so much less drama. There's so much less stress. There's so much less management finding the right dress for every single person. It just kind of pops the top on that pressure gauge of bridesmaid dress shopping. As long as you put some structure to it, you'll still get that beautiful result that you're looking for without having to manage each and every person's choice. Another pro, everybody feels comfortable. Everyone can pick a dress style that looks good on them. They can find something that makes them feel attractive, makes them feel beautiful, and they can also find something that works with their wallet. They have more price points, more options to suit their body, and just kind of generally speaking can feel less stressful for people. And the one real true con, in my opinion, for doing mismatched dresses is it does require a little bit of management. If you just toss it out there and say, everybody go get a pink dress, like, you're gonna get a wide variety of pink dresses that are coming back at you. That's not the best way of doing it. Because if you don't do a little bit of management, if you don't give them some parameters to work with, it can be quite disjointed and maybe even a little bit sloppy. And that is not what we want for your wedding day. We want the main focus to be on you and not on the hodgepodge of dresses surrounding you. So how do you successfully pull off a mismatched bridesmaid style? There are 4 things that I think you can do to really hone this in. If you're gonna do mismatched dresses, how do you do this successfully? One, pick the same color, but just do different styles. You can use same color, same exact fabric, but potentially just different necklines. That's the way that everyone can kind of pick a dress that suits their body and how they want to look and feel on your wedding day, but everyone's wearing the same exact color. So we're not gonna see a whole lot of color variance here, but we're seeing the personalities come through in the style of the dresses. Or you can do the same color in different textures. So I've actually been in communication with Kennedy Blue. They're the ones that we have the discount code with, which is awesome. And they sent over these fabric swatches for free. So technically these are gifted, right? Because they sent them for free. But one thing that they offer on their website, and I think that this is like so important, especially if you want to do the mismatched dress idea, you're gonna wanna get some of the fabric in front of you to make sure that it's a good call, kind of putting some of these ideas together. Because again, we don't want that disjointed look, we want it to have some cohesion to it. So they actually have 3 different fabric styles. They've got the English net, the chiffon, the flat chiffon, and the velvet. So I got all 3 of the fabric textures in the same exact color. So you can kind of see how they all behave with different fabric materials. This is a wonderful way of doing a mismatched dress look, giving everyone the same exact color, but allowing them to pick their fabric style. So you can see, let's see, in that light, it looks a little brighter. While it is the same exact color on paper, they definitely translate a lot different in person. These are like $2 a pop on their website. So if you're unsure, I think it's a really good idea to get your hands on these in person. So what a fun and unique palette to work with without going too crazy, without being too distracting. Same exact dress color, just with different fabrics. So everyone can kind of pick the fabric that they like the best, but you still get that nice cohesive look that you want. Another idea is to go with a generalized color palette. And that's where I went real crazy on Kennedy Blue's website because they have so many different color options. So this time I stuck all with the flat chiffon. Hold on, I'm fanning them properly like a deck of cards. Look at this. You can kind of see the color palette that I was going for here. But I think we've all been in circumstances where you've ordered something online and then you get it in person and you're like, that's not what my computer screen said it was. That's different. That's why I love when you can order fabric swatches from a company so you can actually get it in front of you in person. So I definitely had this like almost fall-esque color palette because it's October here right now. Kind of. I don't know. Can't tell. I'm in a tank top and shorts, but apparently it's October. So I wanted to kind of pick as many colors as I could that I felt like fit that palette. Let me grab the latte color as well. So you can see I kind of have this gradient effect. I really wanted to see what these would look like all together. And I'm glad I did because this one and this one ended up being a lot more blue toned in person than I thought. So they didn't quite end up working with this color palette the way that I thought they would when I was looking at them online. They're still beautiful colors, but they didn't quite turn out the way that I wanted them to. And then when I bring it down to this, it almost feels as though these two are now a little bit too bright, or I should ditch that one, and then we've got that nice fun color palette, or we can do this and everyone's in bolder colors. I would not have been able to know that though had I not had these fabric swatches in front of me. So if that's something you're considering, definitely be sure to check them out. I think they'll even send you a fabric swatch for free, which is kind of cool. But when you do a color palette like this, you can have everyone wear the same exact dress or the same exact dress material, like all of these are chiffon. So that provides that continuity for you. And then where you get the personality is with the neckline and with the general color palette. The next thing you can do is pick a consistent style, theme, or element. So that is if everyone wears an off-the-shoulder dress. I don't care what it is, we want an off-the-shoulder dress. No one shoulder, no spaghetti straps, just off the shoulder. That's pretty cohesive. Another thing would be to keep the length of the dresses consistent. That's one that I think might bother me, is when the lengths of the dresses aren't the same. Like, either go all short or all long. I'm less of a fan when they're different lengths. That might be the only thing that I don't love about the mismatch trend. But pick the same element, whether that's all floor length chiffon, or it's all off the shoulder. So whether you're doing all the same color and in different fabrics or a myriad of colors, you still have that one element, that one thing that's drawing everything together. And last but not least, oftentimes choosing one specific bridesmaid dress shop can really be super helpful for you and take a lot of this guesswork out. Because typically all of their dresses are styled in such a way that they'll kind of go together no matter what. You're guaranteed to get the same exact color from the fabric if you want them all to be matching, or you'll get stuff like this that works really, really well together where it's all the same color but different fabrics, all different fabrics but all the same dress design or general vibe or style. When you keep it all to one shop, it narrows down the options for your wedding party and for you. So if you guys are interested, Kennedy Blue has very generously offered this audience 15% 15% off your order of bridesmaid dresses. So just use code Jamie15 at checkout, and that'll be there for you. If you are considering doing mismatched dresses, like I said, you will need to put a couple of parameters out there. You might need to do a little bit of work, a little bit of research, but honestly, just ordering a couple of swatches from a website like Kennedy Blue is a really smart idea, because then you get a hands-on experience, you get to see what the fabric actually looks like, you get to feel what the fabric actually feels like, and it helps you just make a better educated decision, so you don't end up with a bright colored red pink that just doesn't go with the general palette that you thought you were going for. Feel free to use code Jamie15 over at Kennedy Blue to get 15% off of your order. They are such a sweet company to work with. I'm so excited that they sent these over. So thanks again, Kennedy Blue, for sending swatches, because it made this whole thing like so much more tangible for me, you know? Which of course would have been a lot harder to describe if I didn't have colors physically in front of me. So big shout out to you guys. Thanks for the free swatches. They're very pretty. So that's all we have for this week, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, don't forget to use code Jamie15 if you do head on over to Kennedy Blue. Grab some swatches if you want to help hone in your design. And let me know what you're planning on doing with your bridesmaids down below. I love hearing everyone's different ideas and different vibes and different themes. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. We are on the road to 100K. It's gonna happen eventually. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. It's such a treat to meet with you every single week. And until next week, bye, guys.